So, Facebook have rebranded. Sort of. This new logo isn't for Facebook the product, it's for Facebook the holding company. It's the new logo for WhatsApp by Facebook and Instagram by Facebook and Oculus by Facebook and Gowalla by Facebook. Does anybody remember that? Anyway, it's WhatsApp from Facebook and Facebook from Facebook. To try and clear this up, let me share this little clip of insight from Facebook's branding team about the new logo. Throughout the process, 3 foundational design behaviours informed our brand system. Clarity, a brand that simplifies and builds understanding. Empathy, a system that is respectful of context and environment. And creating space, design that supports people and their stories. Yeah, I have to take issue with the first point actually. Clarity. This new brand doesn't simplify or build any kind of understanding whatsoever. If anything, it's made things probably a little bit more confusing. So one question of all the many that I'm thinking of probably remains: how did we get here? Let's talk about that. This is the 9-Minute Design Show with me, Craig Burgess, and today's episode is called Facebook from Facebook. First of all though, before we go any further, let me just clarify what this actual new logo is. The new Facebook logo is basically the new logo for the parent company, the conglomerate company of Facebook. It isn't a new logo for the Facebook website or anything else. It is just a logo for the holding company. So think the Coca-Cola company or the PepsiCo company or that kind of thing. This logo is going to be the logo that's used on the bottom of WhatsApp, on the bottom of Instagram, all that kind of stuff. I know this is confusing and we're going to get to where it came from, but I just needed to clarify that before we go any further to avoid the confusion that this logo has brought about already. There's 3 things we need to look at to understand how we've got here. Number 1, Facebook buying everything. Number 2, brands getting boring. And number 3, Facebook being hammered by negative press. First up, we're going to look at Facebook buying everything. Facebook isn't just Facebook anymore. They started as a kind of a little bit of a small company making a university networking website, and now Facebook are a massive conglomerate. And it kind of snuck up on us. Most of our social platforms these days are owned by Facebook. WhatsApp, Instagram, even Oculus, the VR platform, it's all owned by Facebook. So if Facebook wanted to make that more obvious and they wanted to kind of show that they owned all this stuff, how would they go about doing that best? Well, they decided that the best way to do that is by adding from Facebook to the end of everything, I guess. And that kind of makes sense. That's what a lot of other conglomerate companies do. They put so-and-so by so-and-so on the end of everything. So that's not surprising that Facebook are going down that route. The second point is brands. Brands got boring and Facebook are kind of following exactly the same principle. If you've seen the new Facebook logo, it is pretty boring, and the reason that new Facebook logo is quite boring is because brands have become boring. Time after time over the last few years, we've seen brands go from interesting to boring. We've seen everything from Nordstrom to the Nobel Peace Prize kind of just get a little bit boring. We've seen interesting and iconic logos like the F1 logo go from something that is not amazingly produced by modern day standards, but it's memorable and it's something quite clever as well. And we've seen the F1 logo go from that to something that just looks like a modern contemporary trend. We've seen classic logos like Staples go from something that was quite interesting to just another sans serif font. Every new major company now needs a logo with a sans serif font and really not much else. Every tech company, even Slack's rebrand, was pretty boring. The only interesting thing about it was the idea that it kind of looked like a multicoloured bumhole. There's no other way to say that other than saying bumhole. It looked like a multicoloured bumhole. Every other brand out there right now, even Uber went from a boring logo to an even more boring logo, and all Facebook is doing with their new logo is following the downward trend into blandness. Pandora did the same as well. The Sydney Dance Company, this was something I spotted on Brand New. The new Sydney Dance Company logo is again just another sans serif font. The new Papa John's logo have removed all the personality and used another sans serif font. Every single brand now is just using a sans serif font, and Facebook are just following that trend. The new BT logo is just a new sans serif font, although Of all the new stuff, I did quite like the new Juventus logo that came out. That was quite clever, and that was quite cool too. And in this landscape, suddenly the new Facebook logo makes a whole lot more sense. The new Facebook logo is exactly that. It is just a conglomerate logo. It is just a font, widely tracked, and really not much else. It's just a nice looking sans serif font. In the current landscape we're in, it's not really much of a surprise that that's happened. And then finally, point 3, Facebook got controversial. Over the last couple of years, Facebook has been in the news and in Congress more than Donald Trump. It hasn't been a good couple of years from them, and people aren't being polite about Facebook anymore. Facebook are not just a little social media company anymore. They are a huge conglomerate that own a lot of things, and people aren't being polite about that. So Facebook are doubling down and they're rebranding everything into one giant brand. So to recap, Facebook bought everything. The rise of bland brands and Facebook got controversial has led us to where we are today, the new Facebook logo. Here's the new logo, and if I wasn't clear about the logo before and what this kind of stands for, the new Facebook logo is not to replace the Facebook website logo. The new Facebook logo is to replace, well, nothing really. The new Facebook logo isn't to replace the new Facebook website logo. The new Facebook logo is to set them up as a conglomerate brand. So this new Facebook logo that they've created will be on the bottom of the Instagram app, will be on the bottom of the WhatsApp app, will be on maybe on the bottom of the Messenger app, all those kind of things. It is to put Facebook out there as the brand. But there's kind of a problem with that because Facebook is not only a brand. Right now Facebook is more known as a product. They're known as Facebook.com. It's going to take a lot of time for people to kind of switch around to that idea that they are not a Facebook.com anymore. They are Facebook.com from Facebook, the brand, which is really confusing. And I know other brands like Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, they've all done this kind of thing, but somehow it doesn't feel right with Facebook. Even though they need to take control of their Facebook brands and they need to take ownership of their sub-brands, it doesn't feel right that they chose not to use a new name. They should have used a new name, they should have changed the idea around and maybe called it something else. In terms of the logo, I don't mind the logo, it looks okay, it's not offensive, it is just a sans serif font that's nicely spaced. There's not much else to say about it. But I think the biggest point behind the new logo that's quite interesting is that everybody right now is calling for Facebook to be broken up. Everybody's saying if you Google Facebook breaks up, there is so many news sources out there saying that it's time to break up Facebook. And Facebook decided to say a big F you, and they're not going to do that. They're going to keep Facebook together as one gigantic brand, and they have doubled down on it by making a new Facebook brand logo, a conglomerate logo that's going to be Facebook from Facebook. They've said F you to everybody and said we are not breaking up, we're doubling down on our brand and we are turning Facebook into a gigantic brand. That's interesting that they've done that. Way more interesting than the actual logo that they produced, but there you go. That's the history behind the brand and why I think they did it. Other than that, well, welcome to another sans serif brand for a big organisation. Hooray! Thank you for listening to the 9-Minute Design Show Wednesday edition with me, Craig Burgess. You can experience the visually enhanced version of this podcast by going to my YouTube channel. I've got images, logos and other links in there for you to check out as well. If you're already watching the YouTube video, well done. This is the best version of it. You can also listen to a podcast version in your favourite podcast app by going to the 9-Minute Design Show on any of your podcast app. I'll be back on Friday with another episode similar to this one but about a different design topic. And if you've spotted any news or interesting design stuff that you want to share with me or you think I might like and that it'd be cool for me to talk about, tweet me at Craig Burgess or email me craig@getdoingthings.com. Also, I'm going to start a new podcast and YouTube thing soon called the Sunday Night Design Show, where I go into more detail about this kind of stuff and produce a long form episode. Until Friday, I'll see you soon.